Now for Global Business Updates, Rotus Oddiri joins us. Good morning, Rotus.
Good morning, Dr. Abati. Good morning, Vimbai. Good morning, Rufai. All our viewers out there. We're going to, hey, please, feel free. Delta State, what's up? So we begin with Asia markets, and the highlight is Japan. I mean, I wish I had taken this earlier in the day. At one point, the Nikkei 225 was almost at 4%. It was at 3.9. Eased up a little bit, but it's the standout. Let's jump to the automobile stocks within the Japanese market. Look at this. Toyota at one point was doing 15%, 14.14. Mazda, 17.75. Honda, 10%. Nissan, 7.9. I think Nissan was almost at 11% at one point this morning. Subaru, 16.45. Why? Automobile stocks ripping because U.S. President Donald Trump announced a deal with Japan. Now, the deal, and here's the thing, the tariffs for goods remain at 15%. Remember, he threatened 25% due August 1. Auto tariffs still remain at 15%. Of course, there's been news that Japanese automakers have been eating existing tariffs because they want to keep their market share in the U.S. Steel and aluminum remain at 50%, and Japan is to invest $550 billion. I mean, when there's nothing here that is in favor of the Japanese. This is just the strength of the U.S. economy and the leverage they have. Remember, in fact, the Philippines head of state was there yesterday. They got 19% tariff. Remember, we went through Indonesia. Indonesia also got 19%. Every deal that has been announced so far has been to the full advantage of the United States, fleshing out Trump's America First policy. If you don't like it, you don't have to take it, you will pay a higher tariff. And each of these countries, they have capitulated. In fact, Trump even said that there's likely to be a deal signed with the EU. European futures, they all climbed. I think the European markets, we didn't touch on that before we couldn't capture that before I came in, but they're up as well. US stocks yesterday, the S&P 500 hit its 11th record this year. So the market's there. So I mean, it just speaks to the size of the U.S. market, how important it is to all these different regions. Meanwhile, Shigeru Shiba, there is local reports that he is going to resign at the end of August. This is coming from local media in Japan that was picked up by others. It said he's talked to people close to him. We're waiting for an official announcement. Don't forget, he lost, the Liberal Democrats lost their upper house in parliamentary elections. They lost the lower house already. I mean, for him to be able to govern, it's going to be really tough because he's going to have to essentially, capitulate. And he was even in a worse position after these elections in negotiating with Trump. And I think Trump knew it. So, it's just, so I think for him, it's just to sign off on this deal, ride off into the sunset. We will see, though. Let's wait and see for the official announcement. Even the yen appreciated this morning. Over to Nigeria, you touched on this already. All parameters have been maintained at the 301st MPC meeting, the 3rd of 2025. Interest rates remain at 27.5%, asymmetric corridor, liquidity, everything is. Now, listen, I listened to all your submissions this morning, and it's always interesting how the narrative continues to be, oh, interest rates are so high. The Nigerian people want lower interest rates. The thing that our viewers deserve to know is, why are interest rates high in Nigeria? Right? Right. So you can't you can't divorce the two. The cost of doing business is high. Why? And then go drill down further, right? Why is the cost of business high? It is because of electricity. The highest overhead cost for any business is. Do you want to do the numbers?
No, do the math. Do it.
You know where I'm going, right? Okay. You know where I'm going. 35 to 40% of overhead costs for every business is electricity.
Yes.
Now, what do you do to fix it? You have
remove subsidy.
Thank you, sir. Look, by the way, Rufai, yesterday's What's Trending, when you talked about the practical issues facing our pensions and the police pensions and how it wasn't practical to move the police, that's the practical Rufai that I love. And I need that Rufai. There's practical Rufai and then populist Rufai. I need practical Rufai. The one that knows. Rufai, by the way, in fact, is a business owner. He has schools, charities, he's run businesses. Rufai knows about the cost of doing business in this country, and he knows that subsidies need to go. But anyway, back to the point. For interest rates to come down, interest rates to come down, electricity prices need to be reduced, and the only way that happens, you get everybody metered, you decentralize transmission, you pay the Gencos the 5.2 trillion you owe them, and you eliminate subsidies. You can't fix all this in 2 years. This administration didn't start yesterday.
It doesn't work that way.
Let's listen to Cardoso talking about sticky month-on-month inflation and the global tariff issues that lead the central bank to remain cautious. Here's Cardoso.
Members observed the uptick in month-on-month headline inflation, suggesting the persistence of underlying price pressures. The continued global uncertainties associated with the tariff wars and geopolitical tensions could further exacerbate supply chain disruption and exert pressure on the prices of imported items.
Again, now back to banking now. Of course, we went through that marathon press release from the Arise News This Day Media Group in response to First Holdco over the share sale. The news has continued. Bloomberg is reporting that the SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commission, is looking into that particular share sale. And the issue around this is transparency, who bought the shares. EFC, Emerging Frontier Capital LLC, is an boutique investment management firm that covers emerging and frontier markets, including Nigeria. Just to read their post that they put out yesterday, with Barbarian Capital, Leadway Group, and their affiliates having sold their 25% stake in First Holdco, what is next? As neither the federal government nor Mr. Femi Otedola bought these shares, we ask who did and what are their strategic ambitions for the bank. Disclosure must improve. Many questions post the block sale. We look at Fugaz. Let me shout out Ugo Dre of Nairametrics, who might not be very happy with me right now because I wasn't able to make the Drinks and Mics podcast finale yesterday. Ugo Dre of, and you guys should all check it out. It's a very great podcast. They have drinks and they talk about economics and business. Nairametrics coined, or rather he coined Fugaz, which looks at the tier 1 banks. First Holdco, UBA, GTCO, Access Corp, and Zenith. If you look at how the stocks performed yesterday, and you can parry this with how Japanese stocks performed today based on the news announced by Trump on that deal. First Holdco had the biggest drop of all of them as of yesterday. They dropped by 4.919. UBA was up by 1.85. GTCO fell by 0.74. GTCO, remember, touched the 100 naira. First time for a banking stock to do that. Maybe you can talk about profit taking. Access Corp was up 3.7. Zenith was down 0.3. Now, across the banking, the Sterling Bank did fall by 4%. So it's not as if First Holdco had the biggest drop of all the banks, but they were par. But for the Fugaz, it does suggest that investors are saying, hey, listen, we need some transparency on who owns those shares. And then finally, Tesla, that's reporting, Dr. Abati previewed this yesterday. Tesla is reporting their earnings later on after the bell. They've opened a 24/7 diner in Hollywood, California. You can drive up with your Tesla. It's like a Bluetooth. It will sync with the diner. You can order your food from inside the car. You can watch movies. You can charge your Tesla vehicle and the likes. We're going to get Teslas. By the way, General Motors, Dr. Abati also previewed this. They lost $1 billion on tariff costs when announcing their earnings. So we'll get that. But Alphabet and Tesla earnings, we'll look at those tomorrow.
All right.
Okay. Well, we seem not to have time.
If I wanted to jump on my neck now.
You have very interesting subjects about the CBN taking an accommodative position, cautious optimism, 7th time that they have done so. And then you also have an interesting story about Japan capitulating to the United States. Trump is saying this is a massive deal, and United States is going to gain up to about 90%. It's just about Trump using tariffs to pressurize other countries. After all, in the case of Brazil that we talked about, he says he will impose 50% tariffs on Brazil if Bolsonaro is not left off the hook. And Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Secretary of State, he's saying, visa travels will be suspended for all members of the judiciary in Brazil, including Moraes, the Supreme Court. Yeah. So that's the politics about the tariffs, but it's okay. There's no time.